There we go. So here we have the Alivast Oracle. Alivast Citizen of the Year, celebrating service to the community. Alivast is a city filled with brave adventuring souls who forge into the unknown and return with knowledge, riches, strange magics, or sometimes never return at all. These intrepid adventurers are often celebrated with a great deal of pomp and circumstance when they return with their haul of gold, magical items, or forgotten knowledge. Another group of notable citizens are the residents of the high districts, members of high temples, and noble personages, such as members of the council or captains of the guard, military or griffin corps. The Alivast Oracle set out to find these unsung heroes of the city, not necessarily strong of arm or wealthy in gold or arcane knowledge, but the ordinary folks who make the city function, and not just any functionary bureaucrat, but the people who go above and beyond to help out fellow citizens beyond the normal scope of their occupation. Without further ado, our editorial staff would like to commemorate the winners of the Alivast Citizens of the Year contest. Honorable mentions. We could only choose one winner, but there were several judges who wanted to mention. First is Jason Trithel, a young student who has spent many hours after school sharing what he learns each day with children in Tent Town who can't attend a school in the city. Unfortunately, Jason was not old enough to be considered for the top spot, but we do hope someone nominates him in a few years. Next is a construct named Mittens, who takes care of stray animals in the Druidic district. While there was universal agreement that Mittens serves a function that many citizens valued, our editorial staff wasn't able to come up to an agreement if they were eligible due to the awkward legal status of constructs in the city. Until that question is settled, we sadly had to pass over Mittens for recognition. Lastly, we would like to mention Mitzi Shkana, a tireless civil servant who goes the extra mile to help regular citizens navigate the city's sometimes opaque bureaucracy. We were informed by Ms. Shkana's superior that she was not eligible for the award, and that he declined on her behalf, saying that her continued employment with the government was enough reward for her. You are late, Fenrir lives. Yay! Alivast Citizen of the Year. Snowflake Butterhopper. Mrs. Butterhopper is a mostly retired paladin of Illinois who hails from Cicadia. She possesses a unique coloration for a tabaxi, and because of that, she faced quite a bit of difficulty in her homeland, as her looks were often associated with a bad luck or a curse. A couple of years ago, she picked up and moved her family to Alivast and works at Constellation's Temptations Bakery. When she's not spending time with her husband of more than 20 years and her litter of 3 kittens, Moon Pie, Crescent, and Ursa, she's taking time out of her day to do extra baking to help feed the less fortunate. Snowflake Butterhopper, White Guardian of the Olympian Valleys. She also makes muffins. There's a picture of her. In a version of the Teach a Man to Fish saying, she is also teaching the art of baking to others so they can better feed themselves and their families, as well as learn a marketable trade that could earn someone a spot in Alivast proper. When we asked why she would supplement her second career with so much community work, she had this to say: "Well, shucks, I wanted to give back to the community. It gave so much to me." Ever since I moved to this town, this ever so lovely city, everyone has accepted me as their own. No discrimination, no judgment, no discrimination, no judgment, no nothing. I felt clarity, relief of this lifelong tension I've had for oh so long. I guess Me being accepted into this joyous community gave me the inspiration and joy I needed to give back to my new home and my new people. Bless y'all's hearts. I found my new home and I want to give back to my home. Illinois blessed me, so I take my blessings and pass them along. Everyone deserves a full stomach and a roof over their head, so this is what I aim to achieve. And thanks to what Illinois and my blessed people gave me. And there we go. The winner of the Alivast Citizen of the Year Award goes to Snowflake Butterhopper, the Tabaxi Paladin. Oh shit, the loading crew. You're getting water or something? No, he is not here. He's taking the night off. But thank you, the loading crew, for raiding. We're just wrapping up here with the Alivast Oracle here. I stole his channel? Yeah, I did. My channel now. M&W is canceled. Just kidding. I don't have that kind of authority. Yeah. The Almond Temple welcomes you to Children's Day. Bring your little one to the Upper District Almond Temple for story time, reading and writing lessons, arts and crafts, plus special songs, games, face paint, and balloon animals with Copper Smart the Orc Clown. Oh, it's the biggest, the baddest, and the funniest clown. Pigeon problem persists. Politicians puzzled by persistence. From Narade Connor's daughter. The only normal thing about pigeons in Alivast is that they are universally weird. Pigeons that can fly but should not. Pigeons that look like they don't. They can but don't. Upsettingly muscular pigeons that look like... who do nothing but flex involuntarily in front of two carts. Don't lie, you know it, you've seen it. Two carts having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. It's just part of the charm of the city. Eventually you just stop noticing them. Right up until they become a problem. Now it seems like the only thing the town's talking about is pigeons. The pigeons in Alivast appear to have become unusually aggressive, defensive, and all-around vicious. They've made the usually easy streets of the lower district and middle districts veritable minefields, and have effectively begun rerouting foot traffic in the lower districts for fear of beak, claw, and other unmentionable means of biological warfare being used against the city's population. Reports of them making targeted pesterings of town guardsmen and high district politicians have flooded the Druidic district, who appear to be mum on the matter of the pigeon incursion, and have opted to leave the birds be. Pigeons are unusual birds, because at one point in the distant past they were tame as parrots, bird-eating spiders, or pseudo-dragons, said Druidic official Biddy Battling Bread. Because of the inherent magic here in the city, we can only assume that the kind of magic fluctuations that happen every year with magic across the world have come to roost here in Alivast, in its most populous resident. If anything, we should be more thankful it did not come in the form of something more sinister, like bears that know your worst secrets and yell them loudly to strangers, and especially at your crushes. The bears happened in Chelstonia. It was monitor lizards who spewed fire and lightning out of both ends in Tadalon, and its aggressive pigeons in Alivast. The best thing we can do is weather the storm and count our blessings. sobering lesson in perspective aside, it has begun to affect local politics. Middle and lower city guards could have easily attended and even swayed municipal meetings regarding these flighted furies. Flighted furies have opted not to attend, and in fact were completely unavailable for comment, citing a need to return to a more stringent schedule. And while they have done so with frightening efficiency in the lower districts, the reality of what faces your average Alivastian citizen still persists. I didn't mind these things when they were more eye than pigeon, or more leg than pigeon, or even more beak than pigeon. I just figured it was something in the air, eh? But I couldn't walk down a normal street I live near without these things warding me off and pecking me bleeding dome, said Torvag Bairn McHale shielded, a dwarf with several obvious lumps where the pigeons have made drumming on his balded dome. I love these damn muckle druids, and their fancy dirt magics would make these rats with wings be on their way. But if the guard ain't gonna do nothing, and them dirt magicians ain't gonna do nothing, then I might have to come down here with a bleeding crossbow to get it to work. Until the pigeons have decided to return to their normal state, citizens are advised to keep a lookout on rooftops and avoid alleyways and shortcuts between buildings, as they have been noticed to congregate around those places. Citizens are instead suggested to use main roadways and streets. Strong mustache wax. The top shouldn't go past 35 to 145 degrees. The bottom curve should peak at 320 to 220 degrees. How to recognize a strong mustache. Oh, there we go. Oh, God. Are you in the mood for a trick or a treat? Come to the Romantian. We have costumes if you want to dress up for Hoketh's harrowing and join the ghosts, ghouls, and other things that go bump in the night. Okay. Here we go. I'll read this and then the letters to the Lady of Liverosia. Here we go. Dignitaries visit High District. Early in the day, Alivast citizens going about their usual business in the lower districts and middle districts got a treat as a royal procession of visiting dignitaries wound through the streets on its way to the High District. It's not uncommon for dignitaries and diplomats from other countries to come to the city, said Horace, a gate guard who typically posted in the city entrance. The procession must have entered the city at one of the other gates or when I wasn't on duty, but I was around when notables from Nomeria came to town. Quite a sight that was. This time, the dignitaries in question were apparently Prince Hasrad from the Quetzal Queen, a small but wealthy band from the Tatalon jungle. The prince was accompanied by an entourage of 7 attendants, bodyguards, one creature that most onlookers described as a 3-headed pet of some kind. All possessed a variety of serpentine features, some more than others. Lots of interesting folks in Alivast these days, said Hexizagzik, a dragonborn, formerly of the Tristella court. It was fascinating that the city's reputation has even reached the darkest jungles and far-off lands. I don't know much about Yuan Ti, but see so many types and colors. It was really an experience. The royal personage of the Prince Hasrad was quite a sight to behold. According to onlookers, he was practically dripping with gold, jewels, and bangles. Many who witnessed the group were quite impressed with the wealth on display and expressed how wise it was for the prince to travel with such heavy guard due to the wealth on display. The crowds attracted in the lower district were stopped at the middle of the gate, of course, but the royal procession was allowed through with hardly any delay. The prince's presence was announced and I could see the guard just go pale in shock. and what I can only imagine was surprise at the royal visit, Zagzig said. I never saw one of those guards move so quickly to process an entry. Even when Azra Sahar first came down to look, it took her a bit longer to get through the middle gate. And that was when Brork Bronswing himself was greasing the wheels. In the less populous Middle District, residents were only slightly less impressed by the royal march. Eyewitnesses report that the royal troop was quite a treat and made what would otherwise be a rather dreary Tuesday morning a bit brighter. Not to waste an opportunity, bakers at the Pies of Tricadia are busy with plans to make a special snake-based sweets and offer them over the course of the next few days, such as rolled and glazed snake-shaped crullers and special snaky pretzel twists. Capitalizing on what he hopes to be a snake craze, Ben McJensenson has already renamed his snack stall Mr. McJensensen's. Mr. McJensenson has taken down the sign that said Ben's Ice Creamery and Hamburger Sandwiches to put up a new one, declaring the new name Snake and Shake. The Royal Guard did apparently encounter some confusion when they tried to enter through the High District, but apparently it was cleared up without any issue. It was difficult to see what was going on at the time due to a sudden influx of pigeons that sent the small crowd of onlookers diving under cover. That's life in Alivast. Another beautiful picture. By August Christopher. And finally, the letters to the Lady of Liverosia. It wouldn't be the Alivast Oracle without it. Dear Lady of Liverosia, there's this girl I like, and she likes me. We really get along and have a lot in common. It seems like everything is going great. I regularly read your column and have been taking your advice to heart. We talk a lot and have gotten really good at sharing what we want and expect out of the relationship. There have been some rough times when we haven't communicated, but we were able to move past those. The problem is that even though we mutually decided to start a physical relationship, the experience has been disappointing for both of us. We have talked about what to expect, but it appears that we are incompatible in that regard, not for lack of trying. What's a good next step? Signed, Unfortunate Intimate. Dear Unfortunate, I love you. I'm sorry that you haven't been able to work out your physical intimacy in this satisfying way. That's okay. Not everyone is compatible with what they want or need in a physical relationship, just like we aren't all compatible in emotional relationships. You're at a crossroads. You can choose to continue your close emotional relationship, or if the physical aspect is important enough, you may want to go your separate ways. It sounds like you don't have good lines of communication. Don't be too hasty. You may need some time to figure out what works for both of you. But don't force anything on each other as an ultimatum. You can still have a rewarding relationship without a physical component, but you both need to be in an arrangement of this. Dear Lady of Liverosia, I've been having problems maintaining relationships. I get involved with someone and love them dearly, but over time I start to feel a bit restless and find myself growing increasingly disinterested. I don't quite understand it, but it feels like I just fall out of love just as quickly as I fall into it. Each time this happens, the more cynical and hopeless I become, that I won't ever find someone who I can stick with. I feel like I'm a loving person, and I want to share that with someone. But it is becoming harder and harder to stay positive. What should I do? Signed, Disinterested Date. Dear Disinterested, I love you. A short letter only tells me so much, so this might not quite fit your needs, but I'll certainly try. Your disinterest, as you call it, may actually be fear. It could be fear that you are entering a stage in a relationship that requires some commitment, and you might be defeating yourself by not confronting that fear. Another thing to consider is to ask yourself if you know how to take the next steps in a relationship. Some of us really struggle with maintaining healthy relationships because we did not have them modeled for us when we were growing up. That's a lot to get into in this format, though. I hope you'll seek out additional counsel that can spend more time working with you in this important issue. Dear lady, there's this guy at work, and I heard that he has a thing for me. It's kind of weird because, while we haven't exactly been at odds, we haven't really been the best of friends either. Wait a minute.
It's one of those, he does this thing and I do mine kind of work relationships. But now I heard through the grapevine he's interested and I'm not sure what to do about it. I mean, I've never considered him in that way. He's also not my usual type. He bathes as frequently as once a month or so, which seems a little obsessive, but he's also dumb. Oh, so dumb. But cunning. That's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know what to do. It's so out of nowhere. If anything, I consider his friend a potential hookup, but that's about it. Signed, Worried Waitress.
Dear Worried, I love you. You are the best judge of you. I always encourage people to keep an open mind. It might be worth exploring, because sometimes you could be surprised. On the other hand, don't force yourself into anything just because it is there. You may also want to keep in mind some things I wrote previously about workplace relationships and unequal power dynamics. Just because he may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer doesn't give you justification to mistreat him in the context of a relationship. When talking to him, take care to express things in simple terms that he can easily interpret. Now the question is, which friend? Indeed, which friend? But that is all for the Alivast Oracle, and is all for the Unexpectables Fan Art Showcase. Here are the credits for the Alivast Oracle: Sky on Air, Froggy's Mom, Fenrir Lives, Jim the Rabbit Cow, August Christopher, WX Chuck, and Caitlin C37.